Okay, so next topic is private and public key. So, as a general definition, what private and public key is? To understand, again, if you will search on internet, you will get thousands and thousands of literature that how private and public key works and what it is. But for our cause, we need not to do again any deep dive on private and public key. But what we need to remember is, as the name suggests, private key is any series or sequence of words, okay, which is known only by the user or it is known only by you. Remember when I was talking about when we were discussing this, we talked about some random value. This random value is nothing but it is a key. Okay, if the key is known only to you and no one else, that is the private key. And if the key is known by everyone else which belongs to you, that is the public key. And also public key is derived from private key. Okay, so it's always in pair. Public and private key, all they are always in pair. Okay, so you first generate a private key, and once you have the private key, you generate a public key. How it is generated, what it is, you need not to worry. What you need to know is there is a concept of public and private key. Private key is always only known to you, and public key is related to private key, and it will be known to everyone. Okay, another synonym is for the private key, for example, your password, your banking password or Gmail password, any password, that is nothing but that is a private key, right? And public key is something like your email address, which you give it to everyone so that they can send it to you, but only you can see the email, right? You take your email address, you can give it to anyone so that they can send you an email, but once the email is sent, it is only you who using the private key can see the email. And what the private key in Gmail is your secret, is your password. So again, your email address is is equivalent to public key where anyone can send you anything, but if you want to see that particular step that what someone has sent you, only you can see because you have the secret key or you have the password. Okay, and how exactly, if that is clear, I'll go that okay, how exactly public and private key works. So here I've taken, in the example I've taken as two heroes like Spider-Man and Batman, right? So suppose Spidey wants to send some data to Bat. Okay, so that's the requirement, that Spidey wants to send some data to Bat, but Spidey also wants to make sure that the data is not stolen or is not readable by anyone else. So again, the requirement is that Spidey wants to send some data to Bat, but at the same time, Spidey wants to make sure that data is totally secure and no one else can read that particular set of data. Okay, it is also given that public key of each other is known by each other. So Spidey has its own public private key pair. Batman also has its own public and private key pair. Okay, and Bat's private key is known to Bat's public key is known to Spidey, and Spidey's public key is known to Bat. Again, I'm stating the rule. Spidey wants to send the data to Bat. Spidey has his own public private key pair. Bat also has his own public private key pair. Bat's public key is known by Spidey and Spidey's public key is known by Bat. Okay. Now in order to send the data from Spidey to Bat, in order to and also want to secure the data so that no one else can read it, what Spidey will do, Spidey will take the public key of Bat. Okay. Again I'm repeating. Spidey will take public key of bat, and using that public key, it will encrypt the data. So there are certain algorithms. Again, you need not to know how to encrypt it, but there are ready-made algorithms available. What Spidey will do is Spidey will take the public key of bat, it will encrypt the data using the public key of bat, okay, and that encrypted data Spidey will send it to bat. So the encrypted data goes to bat. Again, so what happened in this step? Spidey wants to send some data. It took the public key of bat, encrypted the data using the public key of bat, and has sent that encrypted data to bat. Now in between, if someone else found out this data, no one will be able to read it because it is an encrypted data, right? Only bat can read it, and how bat will read it? This encrypted data, okay, this text I think is not correct, so ignore it. This encrypted data, once it is, okay, sorry, no, that was right, I think. So Spidey will encrypt data with bat's public key, okay? That's what is happening in this step, okay? Now, in order to bat decrypt the data, what bat will do? Bat will use its own private key, and using the private key, bat will be able to decrypt the data and will be able to get original data. So again, we need not to worry what public and private key, how the public and private key looks like, how encryption and description works. Just take it as a black box. That there is the way we talked about hash functionality. Okay, just take it as a black box. That and but what you need to know or what you need to understand is how this public and private key works. So so again, in my example, if Spidey has to send something to Bat, Spidey will encrypt the data using the Bat's public key and will send the encrypted data to bat, and bat what will do in order bat to read the data, bat will use its own private key, it will decrypt it so that it can see the original data. This way the data will be secured. Although this is a very simple example, but entire encryption in this world is based on this methodology. So if you understand these four steps properly, you can, you are one step closer to understand any encryption methodology going forward. And this is also what is followed in the blockchain system. Okay, so you need not to understand again how that encryption decryption work, but what you need to know is how you can use this public and private key. Because going forward, once you start using the blockchain system, every now and then you will be dealing with private and public key. Even today also you deal with private and public key, but it is made so easy that you have to just remember some password. But since blockchain system is still maturing, so you will have to, maybe sometimes you will have to deal with raw private and public key. Again guys, does that make sense? Animesh, Divyanshu, Himanshu, Jatin, Pankuri,
Yes, let's move forward.
sorry Himanshu, say it again.
Yeah, let's move forward. So that's great.
Okay, okay, good.
In the slide, I thought I didn't understand Spidey Batman, but now I got it. Thank you.
Okay, that's just an example, you can take any example. Okay,
Okay,
but
thank you,
you
sir.
but you understand the concept, that what I'm trying to say is that, okay, if I have to send a data to you, I will use your public key to sign it and send it to you, the encrypted data, and then you using your private key, you can decrypt the data.
Yes, initially I thought that I will encrypt with my own public key.
No,
Initially I thought,
but
yeah,
how?
but now it's clear.
Yeah, because that's why I said at the start, right, that public and private key are always in pair. So
Yes, sir.
using whosoever public key, you will encrypt it. Only that person will be able to decrypt it because he has the private key.
Oh,
So I think again, email is a very good example that, okay, you do not send email to yourself, right? You send email to someone else, and that person will be able
yes,
to
sir.
see his email only using his password. That is the private key.
Yes, sir. Now it is clear. Now
Oh,
it's clear.
okay, no, good, good.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
then